Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is Yoruus speaking and welcome to in the summary video for multiplayer game number 75. For all you people that watch this for the first time, this video will be a summary of the multiplayer game number 75. The purpose of this video is to, first of all, if you don't have the time to watch the actual game, is to give you an idea what the game is all about, so you can actually decide which parts are you most interested in and which ones you want to watch, since the game is very long. This one especially, this one lasted for almost 12 hours, so a really epic long game. So if you don't want to watch whole the game and you're just interested in parts of the video, you can just check out the summary and decide what you actually want to watch, or if you want to watch the game at all. So definitely a totally spoiler alert. I will definitely talk a lot of the game, so if you don't want any heads up about the game, stop watching right now and go to the first position of the playlist where the actual game starts. This time, let me just upload the screenshot that I'm talking about. There we go. This time I'm playing with Shiumi, AS239, Rio Jano NQ, Collector, and PrimEvalCIV. You probably know PrimEval. He was recording this game and he runs a Let's Play channel, definitely a bigger channel than me, so if you like to watch his perspective, just check the link in the description below to his playlist and his channel and watch his perspective, how this game looked from his side. Also, I do have him on TeamSpeak, so we exchange just a tiny little bit of chat, not too much, just a tiny little bit of chat. So I think that's a nice addition to the game as well. So yeah, let's get to the game. I rolled Persia. I love Persia. Persia is one of my favorite civs. Really, if you would ask me what civs do I like the most, I would say Rome, just because it's Rome. Not truly Rome, because the unique ability is so good for my playstyle. I'm like, that unique ability is great for every single playstyle. And Legionnaires, it's just such a lovely unit for everything: attack, defense, making roads, fortifications. I'm a huge fan of Rome. I know there's probably better civs with better unique units, but just the Rome flexibility and the unique ability that lasts for the whole game is something I'm just in love with Rome. And Persia, I think Persia is again one of the next after Rome civs. I just love Persia. Let's talk about Persia just a little bit before I will start focusing on the game itself. So, unique ability. Golden Age lasts 50% longer. It's like a free Chichen Itza. That's really cool. And when you have a Golden Age, your units have +1 movement and +10 combat strength. So basically, if you're in a Golden Age, you can, with a range unit, you can walk on the hill and shoot. That's just such an amazing. Imagine all your range units being like archers that upgraded from a scout, and you can go on a hill and shoot, or being an Inca. I'm like, amazing stuff. Plus the 10% the combat strength is like almost a free general to all the units. You don't even need a great general. That's unique ability, and that's a super awesome strong unique ability. Now let's get to unique buildings and units. Unit Immortal. Such a lovely unit. You can fortify an immortal in front of the city, and if you get a healing pantheon, he can just stay there forever. It's such a strong and flexible unit, pure awesomeness. And Satrap's Court, that free happiness building. I love free happiness building. That just suits my playstyle. I love a lot of cities. I love big empires, and a building that gives you extra happiness and on top of that gives you gold is just like, it's beautiful. So Persia is a pretty strong civ and I love it. Now I rolled a very poor starting location. And I was like, what's this? I'm like, there's almost nothing in here. I'm like, look at this spot. There's almost nothing. I'm on a coast, but I don't have any fish. I'm on a river, but I don't have any food that you can start off with. So as a start, this is one of the worst starts possible. So I was not too enthusiastic about my starting location, but since I didn't see anywhere to move from the start, I thought like, okay, let's stay in here, let's stay on the coast. At least I can compensate my poor capital location. Well, poor hammer wise and poor at the start. Basically later on you got the river, you got quite nice food from the plains and the grasslands. So later on, when you just want to have great population and run specialists, then it's good. Okay, it's not the best, but it's good. But at the start this is just plainly bad starting location. But anyways, I decided to stay in here and compensate this poor land base basically with coastal trade routes, something that will be used later on, hopefully. That was my initial decision. Now let's talk about the civs. NQ Shiumi 16 is playing France. France, really great civ. Well, maybe not that huge for a cultural victory, but it's still great. Unique improvement, pretty strong, and musketeers still strong unit, very, very strong units. AS239 playing Ethiopia. Oh, that's one of my second best civs as well. Ethiopia with unique monument replacement is just such an awesome civ. It's really great. Rio Jano is playing Carthage, another strong civ with freak harbors, underestimated civs, very strong one. Cleftor playing Arabia, Camel Archers, I don't think needs any explanation. And PrimEval for this game rolled Egypt, so another strong civ. Really strong players, really strong civs, and as I said before, really this was a really epic game. I hardly tell that, but this one was just epic. So much action-packed game that was just amazing. Alright, so enough for this screenshot. Let's go to the screenshot number 2. Okay, and here we are, screenshot number 2, turn 32. So I've met Ethiopia, I've met Egypt, and this is pretty surprising stuff. I met Egypt, that is on the other end of the map, and I haven't met France, that is pretty close to me, but we didn't have a chance to meet each other. Now my land, as I said, my capital, still poor at best, though I did roll 2 iron. I did roll 2 iron in here. I did roll the horse, so okay-ish, as you could say, but as I said, there's no fish, no nothing, so I basically grew my capital to population 5, since I didn't have to rush anything, and I just decided to go crazy ICS spam. Well, it's hardly to say ICS spam, but I decided to definitely go Liberty, as I usually do, so I decided to go for Liberty. Of course, with a deep into tradition for monarchy. I mean, like, it's hard to play without monarchy these days. But definitely Liberty, and definitely a lot of settlers before going for National College, since I could I was planning to go with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cities at the start before going National College, something around that. There's quite nice luxuries. I got gems and pearls in the northern city. You can see the settler and immortal going there. I was planning to settle there for truffles. Ethiopia is right behind those mountains with the passage tile. He did plant a city there, but he did not buy the truffle, so I was definitely going to plant the city there to have a blocker city and to snatch the unique luxury from him. Besides, it was an awesome city, like horses, cotton, 2 bananas, a lot of sheep, so pretty decent spot for a city. Next city I was planning to go on a cotton, so I got a city on the hill. Next one on the desert tile, actually not on the desert tile, the next one was going on sugar. I was debating between the cow and the sugar. But since I did have 2 spots for another coastal cities and my northern city near the gems was going to be coastal, I decided to actually plant the next city on the sugar. So I get the mountain, and it's going to be a pretty nice defensive spot. So I was basically behind a mountain range. I had pretty decent land to plant cities on, so I definitely decided to go a lot of cities into basically an echo sort of a ICS mode. In the meantime, Shiumi rolled an amazing start, and he was doing the same old things, which means 4 city tradition for the start, but I'm just gonna show you later on what actually Shiumi had, and that was like this facepalm. That what it was. Okay, here we go. Situation on turn number 80. So as I said, I planted my initial cities. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So my initial plan was 7 cities. I'm just making another settler. I'm gonna put him between Gaudium and Ecbatana. I'm gonna put it between Gaudium and Ecbatana, exactly on this, just close to the deer, so I can fit in one more coastal city that will actually have access to some nice fish. And after that, I'll probably sneak in Ironworks, I would guess. I don't remember exactly if I do have the National College at this point. I would be guessing that I don't, since I got 55. No, I should be having National College, or at least I should be trying to build National College soon. Geopolitical situation was basically as follows. My closest neighbor, Ethiopia, was in the north, but we kind of agree on the peace. Yeah, basically we agreed on being peaceful. Well, there was no huge... there was no incentive to actually go to war between each other, because the passage was so small. I got 1 tile passage at Susa. I would need to go all around the mountain range. Yes, there is 1 tile, basically 1, 2 tile coastal behind the mountain. The mountain just surrounds Ethiopia all around. So that was a pretty long way to go. Of course, I could make it, and I tried to flank him later on when I actually needed to, but at this point of the game, it was just not that great of an idea. And going through those 2 tile passages at Pasargadae would be just, without great generals, that would be a suicide in my opinion. I would never reach there, and it was just not a good idea to go to war with Ethiopia. At this point, I would absolutely not gain anything. So France was behind 2 city-states, so it would be pretty hard for him to attack me as well. And he had Primeval on the other side, Primeval that actually took Arabia out of the equation very quickly. So Primeval was doing pretty good. France was doing even better, though he didn't take any capitals, but he had the peacetime. And I think Primeval was actually deciding to go to war with Shiumi, and he actually, well, he did not force me, but he talked me into declaring war to Shiumi, so he actually would be worried about 2 fronts, which I don't think he really was worried about 2 fronts, because he knew that I cannot attack him through 2 city-states, the same way he really can't attack me without taking city-states. And since city-state was not attacked at any point of the game, well, not yet, then he just knew he was safe from me. So I used that time to absolutely go into echo mode, just filling out like couple of immortals, just to not being the last at army, and actually having a couple of unique units that absolutely didn't matter in the course of the game, but at least they were there. I could always upgrade them to pikemen. So I was absolutely in echo mode, National College, Ironworks, then to universities, adding as much cities as possible, trading with anyone for happiness, and I actually had very good deals. So my cities was basically growing all the time, didn't have problems with that. So I was just in a full echo mode. But you see my land in here, especially you see my capital, and now I just wanted to show you the land of Shiumi, basically. I mean, like, if he's gonna say that he was unlucky in this game, or he was not lucky in this game about his starting location, oh, Shiumi, man, I'm gonna... I think you live close to me, right? You live in Germany or in Finland? You're in Finland? That's pretty close. I can go to you and we can have a chat about you having no black lands because I don't believe you. Let me show you. And here we are. Land of Shiumi. First of all, let's focus on his capital. He actually have been so kind to me and let me scout. He's on a hill, he's on a river, and he's got a deer nearby on a hill, which at the start had probably the forest, so nice job, but still a tile with 2 food. 1, 2, 3, 4 horses in his capital, 2 sheep, 1 iron, gold, wine, wheat, and a lot of river tiles. That cap is just insanely good capital. He was just going for wonder after wonder after wonder. Hanging Garden, Stonehenge, I think Temple of Artemis. I mean, like, he snatched every single wonder that he possibly wanted. There was just that game that you have a capital like pure craziness. But that was just the capital. Now, you see Orleans, King Solomon's Mine. Okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 tiles from his capital, King Solomon's Mine. Of course, planted. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 tiles to the left, Grand Mesa, and you see Troyes there. And Lyon, pretty sweet spot on mountains. So a very nice defensive position against Primeval, playing Egypt, that actually need to take Arabia. I don't know if he didn't actually give Shiumi by that move heads up because he took Arabia. Maybe Arabia would go for Shiumi first and not Primeval, but Primeval took away Arabia, and actually he was now trying to threaten France, but that spot in here is very well defendable, really. There's no hills behind, only one hill that you can shoot Lyon from, and the rest of the hills you need to pass through are very easily defendable. So that spot is really nice for defense before artillery, so that's a lot of time to be growing. On the other side, there was me, and I was really not a threat to him because there was 2 city-states in between me, and I actually need to put a lot of effort to go there, so I actually decided that echoing up fast would be a better idea. And Ethiopia, pretty far away, and I wouldn't imagine he wanted to go to war. He probably wanted to be peaceful at all. Shiumi's got Carthage in the north though, but Carthage was pretty peaceful in this game as well, so though Shiumi was in the middle, but his land is just amazing, and especially the capital, and since capital is so important, especially if you go, he was just leading the scoreboard for with demographics at the start for a very long time. So Shiumi, if you're gonna tell to me that this game, that you was not lucky with this game about land, we're not gonna like each other anymore, I tell you that. Okay, so that's it. This is the situation at turn 80. Basically, I think I'm at war with Shiumi right now, but it's not a real war. It was just a diplomatic shenanigans that Primeval decided to do. Primeval was probably going to war with Shiumi, trying to slow him down. Shiumi was going crazy ahead. Ethiopia was peacefully echoing up. Carthage was peacefully echoing up as well. And though I was at war with Shiumi, I only built up enough troops to be able to basically add a little bit more and be able to defend. But that basically that's it. I was in a totally echo trading mode with everybody that I actually could. Right, so let's go and see what happens next. Okay, and here we are, turn number 168. Yes, I skipped a lot of turns, particularly I skipped 88 turns. You're probably asking why. Well, it's pretty simple, not much was done. Not much was happening from my perspective, basically. Absolutely nothing was happening from my perspective in those turns, except building up economy and trying to catch up in science and all that cool stuff. So actually, that part of the game is me building up. Not much happening, trying to sneak in some wonders and so on and so forth. But this turn is pretty crucial, and I'm going to show you what happened the turn after this. Somewhere at this point, I actually noticed that Ethiopia is on a very good way to win a diplomatic victory. On turn 168 or something, yeah, 168, the first UN vote. And I was like, okay, I need to stop him. And since PrimEval and Shiumi was fighting, I think, from the crossbow age, basically, they were absolutely fighting out from that point to here. So definitely more action on Shiumi's on PrimEval channel in this part of the game. If you're interested in the comment, I probably would like to see that myself when he finally uploads that. On my part, there was not too much action. This is the part that I was like, wow, wait a second, Ethiopia, I need to do something about it. So I decided to attack him and try to kill his capital as fast as possible, which was obviously not that easy task. I took the city-states that I had access to on the coast to have those cities in here, since I want to have as much cities as possible. And try to flank him, as I said before. You see my settler in the north, so I was trying to open the second route to attack Ethiopia from the north. And at the same time I was trying to apply some pressure in Harar, which was pretty impossible with conventional artillery. So you can probably see that I got some planes, but he's got planes as well, giving me a lot of trouble. So I was going for nukes because I knew that without nukes I will never had a chance to pass in here and kill his capital in time, because now it was like a race. Yeah, basically it was, from this point of the game, this was like a race with time, because with every proceeding UN vote, Ethiopia would, that he failed, he would take 2 additional votes. So actually now he just need to stay alive long enough to have enough votes to win the diplomatic win, and the time was just in his favor right now. So I just need to take him out, especially his capital. I mean, like, why would I focus on capital? Because he's got Forbidden Palace. That's 2 extra delegates just for nothing. So I was trying to convince everybody to declare war, buy out city-states, and so on and so forth. From this point, because I knew he had a real chance to win UN vote. And actually what happened, and I'm just gonna show you what happened just at the end of this turn. And there we go, this is what happened. Ethiopia wins the diplomatic victory. Rio, Jano, and Q didn't know that NQ rules clearly state that you cannot vote for other players when on the UN vote. So Ethiopia was missing 4 votes, but Carthage voted for him, so he won a diplomatic victory. We had to reload the game, since Rio Jano did not know about that rule. Just read that when you play NQ games. It's for a reason there. I mean, like, diplomatic vote is, if you don't get that rule that you have to acquire the votes yourself, basically it's a matter of anybody can win at any given time, because people will just randomly vote for others. NQ rules clearly state you can only vote for yourself in the diplomatic win. The same things AI do most of the time, they only vote for themselves. It's a pretty reasonable. You don't want others to win, right? So you don't vote for others because you don't want them to win. You want to win yourself. That's the general rule of the thumb when you play a game, competitive game like this. So we had to reload. Those things happens, but I'm showing you this because he was missing only 4 votes to win. So now the next vote he's gonna miss only 2, and the next vote he's gonna miss only 2, and the votes are every 12 turns. So now it was like a race with time absolutely started, and I was basically alone with it, because PrimEval and Shiumi, well, maybe not all that alone, but PrimEval and Shiumi was fighting each other, and they had actually no interest about going Ethiopia right now. I was really trying to convince Shiumi, come on, drop a nuke on Ethiopia, drop a nuke. But he did not want to do that, and, well, they, at some point, it actually, like, was like, okay, we need to do something about this. So Shiumi, you know, like, declared war, so he didn't get delegates and, like, votes from even having a diplomat in. in the capital. He tried to take some city-states, but they didn't really go to war with Ethiopia. So I actually decided, which was, I'm not that sure if that was such a great idea, that I was so adamant to actually kill his capital fast, because I used so much resources to that. I took so much damage to actually do that, that I fell behind basically. Now let me show you. It's turn 169 right now. I'm gonna show you the turn when I finally took his capital. So turn 169, and we go to turn number, and here we are, turn 193. That's 24 turns. 24 turns it took me to take his capital. That was like, oh my goodness, that was like so bad. So in the time that I was fighting Ethiopia, Shiumi killed PrimEval, took his capital, and was just leading in the score. Not the science though. I was leading at science at some point, but what Shiumi did was an amazingly great idea he had. Because PrimEval threatened him so much, he actually decided to go autocracy. And though his science was low, this is pretty strange to say, Shiumi's science is low, but his science compared to me was pretty low. But he took autocracy and he stole so many techs. I think after the game he said he stole 10 technologies. I stole like 2 very cheap techs just to level up a spy, and he stole 10 techs. 10 techs. Okay? So he stole 10 techs. Now he had 3 capitals, a lot of land, and my economy was in a disaster. I received so many nukes. I had to build up so many nukes that in the overall outcome, I took a huge blow. I was in a pretty bad shape compared to Shiumi. Shiumi's capital was not nuked. He had a lot of planes. He was first at army. He had a lot of gold. He didn't took that much damage, and I was like running on fumes just to. Well, he was not rushing anything, and I was rushing to kill Ethiopia so much, so he wouldn't win the UN vote, that I actually was not playing that smart. I mean, like smart. Maybe it was not. I mean, like the movement of my troops was not that smart that you would usually do, to just take, like slowly get there. You see, Harar, that city was dealing me so much damage, but I just needed to take Addis Ababa first, and it was pretty hard. Those cities are so strong. Look at Harar, 200 combat strength. That's a really tough nut to crack if you think about it. But I finally did it. So UN vote, he couldn't win anymore at this UN vote, but he could easily win the next one. So Ethiopia actually stayed in this game and made my life miserable. Still, I had to still fight him. I was still trying his cities out of the land, which was task impossible to do. There was a total mistake. I should have just taken Harar right now, consolidate, and was like, okay, Shiumi, if you want to win this game, you gotta do something yourself. And this is the moment of the game. There was a huge mistake on my part. Really, there was a huge mistake on my part. After taking Ethiopia's capital, I should have just taken Harar, consolidate my empire, just build up economy, build up troops, and go into a defensive mode, and don't try to attack anyone. What I thought right now, since I had a huge hammer lead, I was genuinely convinced that I could at the same time take out Ethiopia, fight with Shiumi, and go for a domination victory. That was, I mean, like, I think it was so late. I mean, like, it was so early, and this was morning, I think, already. So I think my mind was not working correctly at this point of the game, because what I should have done is, as I said, just, okay, you took the capital, take Harar, stay in your land, build up defenses, build up bomb shelters, don't go for stealth, don't go for anything. You had a huge hammer lead, you have a huge tech lead, just don't destroy anything, go out, take the science that you need, go for the parts that you need, build up defensive troops, and go for a science win. and let everyone else worry about if Ethiopia is gonna win UN vote anyways. Now you've done your part basically, so now let others do theirs. But I was thinking like, okay, I can take Ethiopia down, I can take France down, I can in the meantime take city-states down, and I can tech up. Oh, Yoruus, what were you thinking? I was too confident, and that was definitely not a smart decision, since my empire was in a pretty bad shape. I was like looking at the hammer stat and was saying like, what, I got like triple hammers of everyone else in this game, I can do whatever I want. No, man, you're wrong. You're wrong, you read demographics wrong, and you read geopolitical situation wrong. Okay, taking Ethiopia capital was beneficial for you, but it was more beneficial for everyone else, because Shiumi was just focused on killing slowly. He was killing slowly Egypt. He was not rushing anything. Yes, they were fighting, but he didn't sacrifice. He was just slowly and methodically killing Egypt and gaining his land. What I've done was like absolute rush, like go take Ethiopia's capital right now, and you're okay. No, that was a bad idea. I should have probably just slowly took Ethiopia down and like let them worry about UN vote as well. You're not the only person that needs to deny Ethiopia from winning diplomatic. Let others do it as well. But I was like, I don't think that was just a wrong decision. Now let me show you what happened next. And here we are, turn 260. This is the core of my empire, and it's devastated. It's devastated at best. I received so many nukes on my core cities that I couldn't improve those tiles back again. I lost so many population. I was still fast in hammers, but gold was like, I was hammering on gold, I was losing the science. I went for stealth bombers that didn't help me that much, so I used 2 techs. Well, actually those bombers did help me out against Shiumi, because he was still able to like drop nukes on me, actually drop nuclear missiles. He used a nuclear submarine. He took away my carrier with 2 nukes that I wanted to use to deny him having the range on me, but somehow I skipped it. I mean, like, I knew there was a submarine there, but I messed that up, and he actually was able to take away my carrier with 2 nukes on it. Then he decided to nuke me up. He dropped XCOMs on me. I almost lost Gordium. It was like a miracle that I actually was able to defend it. Thanks to stealth bombers, basically, yeah, so, well, I kinda need them anyways. Still, I was trying to fight in north against Ethiopia. I was trying to take away city-states with my ships, with my troops, so I was just doing too much time. I was doing too much things, and on top of that, my city connection was destroyed. I was losing a lot of gold, I lost a lot of population from nukes, my tile was not improved, and so on and so forth. So, as I said, I tried to do too many things at the same time. And basically, that cost me a lot. Because, well, Ethiopia would win the vote, the next vote, and we kinda, after this attack that Shiumi actually failed to take away my city, we kinda agreed we need to head to do some of the sneaky stuff. Basically what happened, I took the city-states from Ethiopia and Shiumi took them away. So basically he had them allied against Ethiopia, and that was needed to be done, so Ethiopia would not win the UN vote still, but he was still like missing only 2 votes, maybe 1 vote even, so it was like tremendously close. But at the same time, Shiumi did enough damage to me. I did not had a chance to nuke his core cities. Capital out of range. I nuked like those 2 frontal cities that didn't mean too much to him. I didn't economic damage to him, and the rest of his empire was absolutely out of range. So I couldn't do any damage to him, and he did a lot of damage to me. Especially that gold was a huge deal. So basically, I was still trying to go for science victory, but the damage that has been done to my empire was crippling. I was hemorrhaging gold, I had too little science, and I was actually still focused on building up units and building instead of getting science. So I messed up. I messed up the late game, basically. So this is the screen from me desperately defending Gordium. I did defend Gordium, and after that, basically the war between us stopped. We kind of alliance together, still being at war, but we alliance together. So Shiumi would take away city-states, so he would take away the votes from Ethiopia, and at the same time, we're both racing for scientific victory. So let me just quickly show you the next screen. Okay, and there we go, turn 2 to 5. So I figured out this too late, and I actually was alone. I was like 10 turns from completing my spaceship program. Shiumi actually thought that I will be faster, but as I said, I was too slow. I tried to, like, when we decided to actually stop Ethiopia, I was trying to consolidate my empire. I should have done that like ages ago. So I repaired the roads, I sold things that I could, I worked science as much as possible. I actually was in golden age, finally worked on gold everywhere that I could just to get the science up, but still that was too slow. I figured out that it's too late. I definitely made too much wrong decisions. My core series were nuked too much, and though I still had the hammer advantage, I theoretically had the science advantage, but I didn't have the proper techs. Basically, I didn't have the proper techs because Shiumi was going to win in 2 turns. 2 turns, and I still didn't have the tech for the last part. So I was definitely, in the end, I could say I was just outplayed by everyone. Maybe except Carthage and Arabia, but Ethiopia gave me such a huge run for just trying to slow him down, and at the same time I feel like I was used by PrimEval. Then I was basically used by Shiumi, and in the end he beat me again by at least 8 turns. 8 turns. That's quite a lot, but still. So basically, I would say I had a very nice early game, mid game, but after deciding to go for Ethiopia, I think my feeling for the geopolitical situation and what's best was wrong. Definitely was wrong. Okay, I'm gonna summarize the whole game on the next screenshot. I wanna bloat just a little bit about the demographics. Okay, here we are, turn 2 to 7. Shiumi won, scientific victory. I was at least like 7, at the best 7 turns for getting my part. Now, let me show you the graphs and science per turn. Shiumi is France. So France, look at his science. Everybody killed France in science, and at some point, I was like having double his science. I was having double his science, and still in the end, he caught up, and he won. I mean, like, that's like, oh, I cry. I'm like, come on, he stole 10 techs. 10 techs with autocracy. I don't know what did you steal, but there was certainly enough to kill me. And I was running for double science for at least one nice dozen of turns, but then I just started to be nuked, and nuked again. My empire was hemorrhaging gold, and I came to the exact same amount of science he had. And then at the end, again, I started to work on science, focusing on science, so finally I caught up, but that was just too late. That was basically too late. I should have done this like ages ago, and that would be definitely better. So science wise, definitely before I started the war with Ethiopia, I was doing really great, and I should have probably had more when I would go for science from factories that I didn't had yet, or I would just focus strictly on science. Pretty good game science wise. PrimEval was doing really great as well, and Ethiopia was doing great as well. Just compared to Shiumi, I'm like, how could have that happened? That he had so little science and he still beat me to science victory. I was like, I'm gonna destroy that just for that. I'm like, come on. Amazing stuff. Picking autocracy and stealing so many tags was just so good for him that in the end he just caught up and won the game, basically. And as I said, my decision after taking away Ethiopia was just bad. Now, I'm just going to show you one more graph. Okay, but there's one thing I'm super proud of about this game, and this is the hammer graph. Yes, I'm the one on top. But in the end, that didn't help me that much. But I can, as I said, I had almost like triple. At some points, I think I had definitely like double or double and a half hammers from Shiumi, and so much more hammers than everyone else in this game. So definitely hammer-wise, this was a really great game. But that didn't help me. My geopolitical decisions was just bad. To summarize it really quickly, going for Ethiopia at all costs was a wrong decision. I probably should have just do it slowly. I don't remember exactly if slowly would work or I took the capital in the nick of time, but I probably should have just let others worry about it a little bit, maybe just stop their war and kill a city-state so they will add up something to it. I think I was just too much focused on killing Ethiopia as fast as possible, and after taking his capital, I definitely should have thought to myself like, okay, stop now, take one more city, consolidate, go science, and try to go for scientific victory, because domination victory is out of the question, especially that you took so much damage that you don't have a standing army. You're not number one in a standing army, so you can't go into conventional war. You're out of range of anything good, so just go for science victory and try to play defensively. That was a totally wrong decision, and diplomacy wise, from that point I was absolutely outplayed, first by PrimEval, then by Shiumi. I was just outplayed in this game diplomacy wise, and after that I just took wrong decision, and that cost me the game in the end. But anyways, that was a super epic game. From the moment I started the war, it was like constant action. 11.5 hour game of constant action. If you're gonna watch the PrimEval perspective, probably his game was just as interesting from my... I really enjoyed playing this game, though it was super long. I was super tired. My wife was definitely mad at me later on, but I think it was worth it. So that's it for this summary. I hope you enjoyed. I hope it will be helpful for you, and I invite you to watch the actual game. So thank you very much for the game, everyone. GG, Shiumi, Rio Jano, Prime, Collector, and AS239. Thank you very much for watching. I invite you to watch the actual game one more time, and see you next time. Best wishes, Yoruus out.